All right, so in the last video I talked about CSI and why I won't be ever using 3M again. And just a few hours has passed since that last video. Well, I say a few, probably more like 4 or 5 hours after I finished polished, and got some water and a rag out here. To clean up on this stuff was really easy. Wiped the residue off, got some of the wool hair off the car, and just started to do the red pad, and use the same polish. So for now, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to do the red pad with the same polish. You can see how deep this is. Very, very nice. The rest of the car has just been done with the wool pad with the Ceramics polish, and it almost looks like it was finished. I mean, it looked that good. Of course, wool would leave some haze and stuff, but you can tell, especially here in the direct light, that not a ton difference, but that red pad is taking out what the wool left behind, as far as the halos and swirls. Now, I'll go ahead and give you a little bit of a warning on buffers and stuff. The machine buffers that all go in one direction. I use a Makita here. That's a variable speed, and so far it's been a good machine. But the CSI, it dusts, but I mean, look at this, how easy that just comes right off. If that was 3M, you'll wipe it and you think you've got it off, and then it's still there. Especially on their polish. They're polished like glue. So, I said all that to say this. It's dusty. You can see all this on the floor. This is all dust from polishing. All the footprints almost look like I've been sanding. It's very dusty. If you've got a nice car sitting beside it, it's probably a good idea to cover it up, because I've got dust all over my car now, but you can see it comes off really easy. I'll take the feather duster and dust that off. It's not a big deal. But soap and water cleanup, I'm really anxious to see after this stuff sits on here a while, after I wash it, how easy it does clean up. Tom from CSI kind of showed that in a video, how easy it cleans up. But so far I'm sold. I mean, I've never seen a product that after, and don't get me wrong, I was always afraid to use a wool pad for some reason, but their particular wool pad doesn't heat up, don't get the paint too hot. I can bear down on the hood and the trunk, and you can feel that it's warm, but it's not hot to burn you. And there'll be a few places every now and then it'll kind of gum. If you get it a little too warm, it'll gum, but it'll come right back off. Just be careful. So, I mean, 3M compound never made the car look this good on the first step. Never. I would argue and say this looks as good after their two-step, 2 different products. And this is just 1 step. Okay, so the other issue I wanted to talk about, and a lot of people on these on the Tamco page and stuff, I can tell they're not into the same line of work I'm into, because they just don't quite understand the concept of dieback. And for a long time I didn't get it. Well, what's dieback? Well, in a pinch, dieback is basically, the redneck way to describe it is like millions of little small dimples about as big as the end of a pinpoint, that when it's all over the car, it looks like miniature orange peel. And this car, because I used 3M garbage, I don't know if you can see it, but it just don't have the depth that it should have, because the paint, basically it's like a high resolution picture that you blow up too big and it becomes a little bit pixelated. Well, that's what dieback is in the clear coat. And this stuff here, and on a if you use 3M on a paint job that's a year old or so, it's probably not going to give you any trouble. But I can't say it won't, but I would say it would probably be okay because the paint is fully cured. Well, on a car like this, the paint's not fully cured. So what I was having happen was, after, you know, several weeks, one car I had that was this particular color here, that 35,000 mile car you'll see in some other videos, it done it within about 3 days. The time the sun hit that car, it shriveled up like a prune. And it was so bad, out in the middle of the hood, it looked like the car had not even been cut. I mean, it was bad. And then here I go cut it with 2000 and buffed it again, and thinking I was improving something, and I used the same 3M compound. Well, the time I sold that car, it had already pixelated about like this one did. The difference was the paint had a little more time to cure and whatever. And I think on that particular car, I rushed my coats. And if you rush the paint job, you rush your base coat on, you rush your clear on, you're going to make the solvents, you're going to trap more solvents. So I noticed even before I cut this car, you want to even give the paint a while to cure, because if you don't, you'll actually see dieback in a fresh, even with all the orange peel, I could see dieback in the paint. And again, you can see it here on top of the door. It's like a bunch, where the paint's laid real flat, it's like a bunch of miniature dimples, and that's dieback. What you don't want that to happen is that to happen after you've buffed. And I'm hoping and praying here this CSI, and from what I've gathered, this stuff will let the paint cure on a fresh paint job without dying back. And if it holds true, because like I said, I'm just now polishing, but from all the videos I've watched, all the reviews I've seen, unsolicited and unpaid, that it's not going to do that. So now that we've got that out of the way, I don't know really what else to say about it other than you need to quit using, and I'm not saying this is the only good waterborne polish, but I'm saying you need to start using waterborne polish. This petroleum-based crap, it's trapping solvents in paint, and a lot of these people that's doing collision work, they're buffing their crap with 3M, sending it out the door. Nobody's ever going to see that again because they're nibbing the dirt and they're sending it on its way. They're not cutting the car down to a mirror finish like this. I mean, classic cars you do. So I've showed that car to a few people and they just can't really see what I'm talking about, but my paint guy I get a lot of my paint from at the local supply store, he had to look at it about 10 minutes and different angles and finally seen it. So on this car, it's not very bad, but I have seen it worse on other cars. So just beware of that out there. I got sick of cars looking like a mirror when they leave, and then they call back and have to help them polish again because the paint pixelated on them. So beware of that. I believe this is the cure for it. But anyway, so this is video 2 on the CSI. The next video is probably when the car is all put together. I'm going to do a video about this, and this is the polish enhancer. And I'm going to use this with the Griot's Garage red pad and DA, and that will take out any of the halo effect from the buffer. These machine polishers here, I would say it's probably going to be better with the CSI, but they're going to leave some type of halo effect. If you look at it in the sun, it looks like there's something you can touch out. It's weird, kind of. It looks like it's kind of standing up off the paint. Well, that's a halo. That's halo. And the DA will do away with that. So that'll be later after I get this convertible top dyed and all the interior, all the chrome back on and stuff. I'm going to take my time, and it's a low dust product. So clean it up real good. So look forward to that. That's all I got for now about CSI, and we will see y'all later.